Hello, hello from a very special place here today on Chi Time TV. I've travelled over to Glastonbury, as I do often, and this time I have come over to visit some very dear friends of mine, and it's time that we stepped into our zones of collective collaboration and sharing the truth of what really matters with one another, with respect and consideration to all that is important to us. And with the topic here of Chi Time being around mantra, moves, meditation and mindset, I wonder if you can guess who's coming in. I'm absolutely thrilled to have beside me once again, after several years, we haven't seen each other for a while, but we will unfold our story with one another as I bring them on screen. So sliding into view, I have the beautiful Lila Rose from Illumina and her dashingly handsome counterpart, Anaam Zen. So welcome back into Chi Time, my darling ones.
Thank you so much. Delightful to be here.
Wow. Well, we've got a bit of a history, haven't we?
We have.
We have.
Indeed.
I don't even know how long ago it was that we first met, but since then we have run events alongside one another in the New Forest, in exotic locations. The tree house is a very memorable one. And then that beautiful retreat New Forest was the last one that we did it in as well. So when we're gathering people around to sing and chant and, well, also tell stories, because that's an important part of gathering in community. And this is what I feel is has been lacking with the, what we've all had to manage and deal with recently. This sort of being in community is just so important to us. And I just wondered how you were feeling about that, if you want to chat to us a bit about how that feels.
Being in communities.
And how to regain that after what's been happening. Everyone's been isolated in their homes, and how do we step forward again now? How do we do this?
It's a big question.
I know, I've just landed it on you.
It's a big question.
maybe it just needs to hang. Maybe that's one of those questions that we're on. How do we do this? Now, you lovelies, you just moved to Glastonbury from Crystal Palace, so you've come from London. And what's that like?
Well, I think that there's a precursor question to that one, which is to actually realize that communities are important. And if we don't realize that communities are actually valuable now more than ever before, then there will be no motivation to, just hanging out time is over. We have to actually start hanging out and drinking beer on the weekends. Yeah, good luck with all that. But actually seeking out like-minded individuals, communities. And I also actually don't use the word like-minded, because that hang out with like-minded people and we get into arguments very quickly. But hang out with vibration people.
Or like-hearted.
Like-hearted people just become a misery party.
People. Yes.
Like-hearted people become pity parties very quickly. But what I tend to think about is like vibration people. People are on the same vibration. They can have different hearts if they like. They can have different minds if they like. They can have different whatever they want. But the vibrational match will ensure that there's a base
I would
understanding.
Suggest that a vibrational match actually emanates from the heart. And it's not the only frequency that we are emitting, though, is it? There's the other energetic, there's the bioresonance too. But when you're in heart coherence with one another in community, there is something more that goes on then. So yeah, I know what you mean. When people talk from the heart, sometimes it can be a bit, as you call it, a pity party.
Yeah, because then it becomes culty, because there's no allowance for people to feel differently.
Okay.
You have to just feel positive all the time according to wherever the group wants to be banging on about. And the heart is just as much, in the new age, it's a very big word, the heart. And I don't think reality gives a damn about hearts. I think reality is
I can tell you, it's great to have you on, because you just tell it like it is. Carry on.
One can verify for oneself. You can, reality is based on energetic vibrational matches.
Okay.
That's what we experience. We experience vibrational match at all times. And if there's a vibrational match, then someone can be feeling one way, another person is allowed to feel another way. And there's no force to be in the heart, or be heartfelt, or be heart loved, and all these hearty things, unless someone actually wants to be like that.
Okay, so the space is a big thing that I've been looking at and playing with recently. How much space that we give ourselves and one another to be who we truly are.
Exactly, you got it right there. That's the vibrational match.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, because we're these human beings that have learned to primarily communicate with our words, because that's been the way that we've been educated, sometimes to actually convey, and as I understand, English is rather limited in how we, being able to express what we really, really feel, because I can feel nuances that sometimes I can't bring into the English language. I actually only know the English language. I know little bits from other languages, but not a great deal. And I do feel that limitation. And I feel I felt so much. We've talked so much about this quality of vibration and vibrational matches and resonance, and how much more aware, or how much clearer it is at the moment, that the things that are of resonance and the things that are not of resonance.
It's very clear.
It's very clear. It's very clear. And what I was feeling, beyond just hearing your words when you were both sharing what you were sharing, was that there was a resonance with actually what you were bringing. Like it was almost like you weren't saying different things, you were just saying it in different ways. Because I could feel the heart, when you brought the heart in, I could feel that in my body, which doesn't mean to say I'll be all like we're all one and everything is wonderful and skipping down the lane, that kind of happy go, not that kind of wishy-washy kind of
like it is
new agey heart-centeredness that's not totally rooted and grounded and like but what do we actually really feel?
And the heart isn't always about that. I don't think it's the whole spectrum between it. So it's not what you expect. You go into it, how is my heart today?
How
is my connection to source? How's my connection to spirit? Because this is the balance place in between heaven and earth, isn't it? So this is where the dance goes on. And it is different. It is different.
I'll go and open the door.
So that's on your neighbours. Yeah, brilliant. So while he's opening the door, what's it like with more space here in Glastonbury compared to what it was like in London?
Heaven. It's like heaven. It's heaven. It's really like the heart, the body, the lungs, the mind, everything can breathe. Everything can breathe in a different way.
Does it feel sort of less compressed? Because I remember when I moved out of London to the New Forest, I found it so much easier to connect in with the energy, with the chi. It was like you just step into the forest and there it was. Whereas when I was doing my training up on what calls the Seven Sisters Sunset Strip, that was up in Finsbury Park, having to root down through concrete. I mean, please, you can do it if you're really focused, can't you?
Yeah.
But it's so much easier when you're actually bang in nature. And it's there, it's just there, you just become part of it. Have you found that? Is that one of the things you found?
Definitely,
okay.
definitely. There was in me, there was a craving for quite a long time to be around more trees and more green, than humans.
Yeah.
So that there was more of that and less of the humans and less of the concrete and less of the things that kind of, you know, divide us all up and all the like.
And you were speaking about earlier about how the different languages, and when you lean against a tree, there's the wisdom of the tree there with you that doesn't speak in English, it speaks in treeness. Tree-ness and other, the subtle language of nature. You know, when we get this language out of the way, there's so much more, there's so many more ways that we can communicate with each other. And this is becoming very important, where the spoken language or the written word cannot necessarily be trusted. And so where do we go?
Where do we go?
Where do we go? We go to song.
We go to song.
So, or sound. So yeah, just before we move from that, the topic of moving from London to Glastonbury here, there was something you were speaking about earlier when we were chatting outside around what you were feeling about that congestion in London compared to what it was like here. You were saying something about the electromagnetics.
Yeah, for me, it's very clear that cities are, for better or worse, designed as electric circuit boards, really. And the human beings are powering that circuit board.
Very Matrix.
Yeah. And that becomes very apparent. It's literally impossible to see that when you're living in the city. It's not possible. But as soon as you come out of the city, to live somewhere else, not visiting, not touristing to France or whatever, actually to live outside of any city whatsoever, any big city, it becomes very apparent straight away. And obviously switching cities won't get you to see that either. You have to come into the electromagnetic field of nature, which is a very different grid than the artificial grid that are manufactured in cities.
I mean, you're so right about having the experience. When you're in it, when you're in anything, you're in with that frequency of it. And it's not that easy to connect in with another, unless you're really strongly, and you know that. I used to come backwards and forwards between the New Forest and Stoke Newington, where I lived in London. And there was one time I was shooting back on the motorway, almost thinking I thought, hang on, I'm going the wrong way. I should be coming back home to the forest and visiting London. And that switch came for me. So when I was in London doing practice, I remembered what it's like to be in the forest, and that would help me to stay connected to nature. But I also know that my system was preparing me and my son to move out of London, and that I just had to trust and follow that. And I know you'd been meaning to move out for quite some time too. So it was following the energy and the resonance of the truth that is guiding you to bring you to where you're supposed to be. And these lovely people thought they were moving to Totnes.
We did.
And look what happened. They found themselves in Avalon. So there's big changes going on right now, big changes. And with everyone coming out of their doors once again and connecting in, like you said, I think it's not going to be the same way we meet up. It's not going to be as mindless, dare I say that word. It's going to be what are we doing here? There's been enough space to actually consider what choices have we got, what options are there, who do we trust, where do we trust ourselves on the inside. It's vital questions, I feel. Yeah,
absolutely. Because if we don't reprioritize our values now, then I don't know what else will be the catalyst. What else needs to happen to get us all to prioritize what is of actual value over how much money you're gonna make. How much money is someone, bread costs the same for a millionaire as it does for a homeless person. How much money is someone gonna make? How much? I mean, so
it's not all about money either, is it? It's about quality of life.
Yeah. How long will someone just continue to feel lonely, for example? You can't expect bells and whistles if you're not expecting bells and whistles. In other words, you can't solve the problem from the place that is being created.
Exactly.
So we have to relearn, we have to prioritize. Okay, money isn't the problem here. I can pay my rent, I can do whatever. Now I need to focus on the loneliness part. And that doesn't mean going on Tinder and all this nonsense. That means figuring out what are my actual priorities in life.
Yeah, and how do I want to communicate with other people?
Yeah, and how am I gonna
How
exactly how am I gonna
that?
functionalize that so that my life actually works for me rather than works for some kind of strange ideas I may have had, which are all someone else's ideas. They're always someone else's opinions, ideas that we think are always better than ours.
Getting back to self-empowerment again.
You know,
what is important?
Yeah, I think, I mean, it seems to link back to what I was speaking about earlier about the education, that a lot of us are waking up out of the idea that the way that we've been taught to be human beings is the way that's most true. Like, I think many of us for years and years and years, I know I certainly did, or as far back as I can remember, felt something was quite strange about how we lived and didn't quite understand it. Like,
and who could you talk to about it?
Yeah, like, and even as a child, just feeling that there's more than this weird overlay. There's more than this. There's no way that I could have even known how to put that into any kind of words, but there was a sense of it. And that grew as I went into like my teenage years and everything. And of course, many of us kind of distract ourselves from the madness in lots of ways. I know I did.
Yes.
And now with everything that's been going on for the last year, everything that's kind of coming to the light, it does feel like many of us are reprioritizing, discovering what the hell we care about and what we're here for, and
exactly, real questions about your life,
questions.
So what was coming up as you were speaking there is about one of my favorite topics is like, what is normal and what is natural? So it's this sort of like, we're all going to go back to normal. What is that anyway? How about what is natural? And sometimes what is natural doesn't feel normal because we've been so in the patterns of society, being, our society is what's expected of us and how we've been brought up and what we think we should be doing. But when we come back to this wisdom of nature, there's all the answers. And within ourselves and the connections we have with one another that are true. And I think this is being called what can I trust right now?
Massive one.
What are you trusting right now?
What am I trusting?
What's the big trust?
What am I trusting? When it feels like it comes back to nature, and that's why so many of us are being called to be around the trees, the land, like the vibration shifts, so that we can, in my experience and what I witness, is that we align more with our essence, and then something just knows, this I can trust, this I know in myself, as myself, unshakable. And as a female body in this life, I have a womb. And what I've discovered over the years, what's been shown to me as I've done my own, I've been on my own journey and done my own inquiries and just everything that's come through that, there is great wisdom there. There is great wisdom in the womb, and she speaks. If we get quiet enough here, then that starts to speak. She starts to speak, and that I trust deeply.
I love that so much. So Lila is a Kundalini yoga teacher. No, Lila is
I was for many years.
She was a Kundalini yoga teacher.
She was a Kundalini yoga teacher.
What's your?
I am a womb oracle, wise woman remember facilitator, soul sound
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, I hold women's circles. I work with
Yeah.
women privately. I do, we might say something that looks a bit like yoga, but it's got lots of other flavors in it as well.
Marvelous, weaving that truth through you. And I would love to open a discussion with you about the connection between the sacral chakra and the womb and the dantian. With that, maybe having another time. Because
to be continued.
Yes, I would like to ask Anaam what he's trusting now. What are you trusting? What do you trust in?
What do I trust in? You know, Rumi has a great quote of one of those guys. Says, far beyond, there is a field. What does it say? There is a field beyond.
Out beyond
our thoughts and opinions. I will meet you there. And it's that field that I trust. And that field is, first and foremost, has to be clear enough inside in order to be able to be referenced at will against what is not that field. And once you have that reference point very, very clear within you, genuine reference point, not just a mental fantasy, then it's very easy to trust it, because it permeates and everything arises out of that field. So then it's kind of like asking a fish, do you trust water? You know, the question becomes harder to answer. You know.
So it's trusting the field of all possibilities, that the quantum field of all it is.
No, it's not. That's just more mental philosophies, because it's more, you know, what would happen if we all three of us right now stopped thinking of ourselves in words?
So how do we do that live? Oh, maybe we could do some sounds, but yeah. That's
everything gets very quiet.
It does get quiet.
And
what I felt then was we then become a vessel for that which flows through us naturally. And the more we get out the way, the more this vessel can hold the truth of being in this moment.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just, you just spend your moments.
Yeah.
You know, the question of, you don't have to worry about who to trust or what to trust, what not to trust, because you're going a bit more primal than the calculations.
I love it. So if you're watching this, we're not doing any live responses because simply I can't logistically manage it right now. But I'd love if you've got any comments afterwards, drop them in for Lila, Anaam and myself around these topics that we're touching on, that if you be touching your heart and your void of all. But now we'll follow on from that, I think, with some sound. This is just such a joy. So Lila and Anaam, as a duo, are known as Illumina, and they just create such beautiful, beautiful soundscapes and musical, I don't even know the words of now, I can't even speak what it is you are, who you are, but you do encourage us to find the sound within that is our truth. So yeah, you will sing and you will play, but it's not about a performance, it's about an invitation for you to come and join in and experience how the sound is running through you. So I remember doing the live events with you and the different variety of tunes that it's just not just kirtan, or you know, it is like there's some Celtic songs in there, there's some Indian songs, there's a whole range of pop puree, is that the right word?
Pop puree,
So how do you choose what you're going to share, and is it just stuff you love?
Is that like How do you mean, in the magic mantras or the? Oh, we haven't even talked about
No,
that yet.
we haven't gone there yet. We're talking about when you like you did St James's up in London.
Oh, I see.
You've
Got
done
you.
the tree house. You've done some other.
Yeah.
And you also done some stuff in Glastonbury here, haven't you? At the ashram.
Lots. Yeah.
So for those evenings or days, or when you call us together, let's do some singing with Illumina. How do you choose
decide?
the tunes? Yeah. How do you get there?
The songs tell us.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah, the songs tell us.
Sometimes what happens is that we'll choose a song or a mantra, and then we'll both go, actually, no, that's not.
Yeah.
Just yet.
Oh, we'll have a set list, and then we'll be there on the day, and then one of us will go, what about XYZ? And the other one's like, that's coming in. That's coming in. Like, they announce themselves. They're beings. They're alive. And they have personalities.
Oh, that was one of the things that I learned from you, that when we sing mantra, we're actually tuning in with the mantra that's already going on all the time. I'm like, wow, there's such an honoring there. But also, what professionals, they could just decide to do different songs when they feel like it, 'cause they know it. You just ooze this, don't you? It's part of who you are.
Ooze it.
Ooze the sound.
Choose to ooze.
Choose to ooze.
And yes, we have mentioned Magic and Mantra Mondays, which occur on YouTube and on Bookface as well.
Bookface.
Bookface and YouTube you.
Tube of you. Exactly.
Tube of you.
A little on the feet, and that's like 8:30 on Monday evenings.
Yeah.
8:30
GMT.
GMT. Oh, is it not BST?
BST.
Is it BST?
Yeah, we're in bloody summertime.
Excellent.
So I thought it might be quite fun for us to have a bit of a live example of what a Magic Mantra Mondays might be like, and with me having already made my request, whether they're going to do it or not or change it at the last minute is entirely up to them. But I do, so just going to give you a little bit of a wax lyrical here about how your mantras have really helped me in my life. Before I had a home, when I was driving around in my car a lot, I had your albums with me. Thank you so much for blessing me with those. And it just become the first thing when I started a journey, I just had to play Cosmic Om. It was like, that's the track to start the journey. And then that would move on through, can't remember which one came next, but I'd then get to the Lakshmi mantra and I could not get enough of it. It was like this, the beautiful way that you produced it as well, with all the, I'm just going to do this because it probably wasn't that, but I'm loving this and I really want to play it. But yeah, is that
it's set to wind chimes, isn't it? Yeah,
yes, it is. It's a very special version of that. Which album's that?
It's on Devotion, I believe.
Devotion, okay. All on illuminamusic.co.uk.
Is it on Devotion or is it on Meditation?
I think it's on Meditation.
Meditation.
The red one.
The red
meditation.
One. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that was before I clocked in with your Magic Mondays. And then when you started doing those, I'm like, oh, thank goodness, every week coming into this sort of this connective point into sound and community and letting your body resonate with the sounds that are coming through you. Totally powerful. I mean, you can't hear us probably just as well, but you can imagine, you can feel the energy in the group. Do you get a sense of that when it's going on?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely. We are in the same room.
Yeah.
It feels like it, doesn't
That's where what you mentioned, the quantum field.
Yeah.
That's
where that happens.
This realm, so yeah, that's the doing side of the spaciousness I was talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the active side of infinity.
Yeah. I literally see everyone in a circle.
Yeah.
It's quite remarkable. You wouldn't think that you're just doing a live and some people are tuning in, but it really does. From our side, we can feel it,
and it expands it. And really because you're on your own space, so there are times when I've just been drumming. That's mainly the Ganesh mantra that makes me do that. That is such a powerful one. Those of you that know that one and that practice live with Illumina, you'll know that it really grows and grows and grows into frankly, mayhem,
Yeah.
and then it kind of calms down again. But there's that amazing expression. But when you drum at the same time with you, there was something that went on there, and I just was so fired up after that. And then there are other ones like, oh, which one were you doing that I just, the movements, because being a Qigong player, I was finding the mantra was wanting to express as movements through me as well. And I'm like, whoa, there are times where that just happens. And again, the title of this is about mantra, movement, meditation, and mindset. So I love this combination of what wants to breathe through us so that we find the truth of who we are in that moment. And because we're on our own, but we're being held in a community space, we don't see what other people are doing. So we're not distracted. Neither do we feel embarrassed about, I might be drumming a bit out of rhythm here, or my moves have gone a bit wonky in that bit. You know, none of that is there. So I think you're holding a very special place for us to explore who we are in our truth in the moments that we're sharing with you. It's like, wow.
So beautiful. So beautiful to hear that.
Yeah, I also wanted to point out that, you know, using our voice is very different than playing a piano or a violin or whistle, even whatever. The voice is it's a direct link to our vulnerability.
It is, isn't it?
So the more we can get confident in that, the more we can feel great singing, chanting, and chanting is there's a science to it, you know. There's a mechanism of it, and I think that is very empowering for in an age where we've lost that.
Because the chants, the mantras, they link us to the space pre-mind. So we access that space of, well, the vulnerability, but also the space of, what are the words I want to bring here? Non-self-consciousness, which doesn't necessarily immediately come. For many, it doesn't. But over time, if we chant, many people have reported that they start to feel more relaxed and enjoying of their voice.
And this is the thing, when we can empower our voices and our throat chakras, we start to speak our truth more. We can stand up for what we believe in. Oh, brilliant. So last 5 minutes of Chi time. Shall we have a little example of what you get up to on Mantra Mondays? I will hand it over to you. Let's move that a bit. I will step off screen and over to Illumina live on Chi time.
Live on Chi time.
Do you want to just go over the mantra once?
Yes. So this mantra is Om Tare.
Om Tare.
Tutare.
Tuttare.
Ture Soha.
Ture Soha.
Om Tare.
Om Tare.
Tutare.
Tuttare.
Ture Soha.
Ture Soha.
Green Tara mantra. Tara mantra. For compassion.
For compassion.
For compassion. For the heart. Green Tara for the heart. Green Tara for the heart, that connects us with what just came in then was nature's vibration of all inclusiveness.
Beautiful.
Om Tare Tuttare Ture Soha. 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 Om Tare tuttare tu re 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 soha.
and the glorious space afterwards that we share. Thank you so much. That's lovely. So if you'd like to find out more, head over to illuminamusic.co.uk or Facebook or YouTube.
Facebook is a good idea.
Well,
Find us on Facebook, yeah.
Okay. Or drop me messages on here or on the Cheeky Temple, CHIQI Temple at gmail.com. We've got the new Qigong 7-week course that's starting this week, all about breath work. So that connection with Qigong and breath work and the pranayama, I mean, it's such a massive topic, but yeah, that feels like stepping into the how we're breathing, you know, how we're taking in the air, how we own our lungs as our own, and where can we trust the air. I mean, a big topic, and we won't go off on one now because, but it does feel timely to be presencing the lungs, particularly we've been singing with them just now as well.
Yeah.
And that beautiful energy of green Tara. Thank you. That was magic for me.
No, thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah,
I love this
it was
one.
Clara's suggestion.
So is that going to be the mantra stepping forward from next Monday, or no pressure or anything? Or have you got other ones you're looking at?
So just to give context to the audience, every month we choose a theme, and depending on what everyone wants, people tune in from all over the world, literally. And people might want more healing, so we'll do a healing mantra, might want a bit more abundance, or we'll do a Gayatri mantra, or we'll do a Tibetan mantra of, whatever, and then Tara mantra as well. So being the end, the next Monday will be the start of the new month. We're all deciding what mantra we're going to do.
We don't know
Clara
yet,
is selling us her favorite mantra.
Well,
Please, can we do that?
It's just we haven't done it for a while on Mantra Mondays, have we? But I'm also really
It's a
happy.
good one to do.
It's a beautiful one. I love this one. It's a good. It's a good. What's the word? Like runner.
Runner, yeah. And we did a compressed version here. We go for a good 15 minutes.
Oh, we do.
And if we build it, today, because of respecting the time, we did a very, very capsule version.
Hopefully you still got something pretty magical from that experience. So thank you so much for watching, listening here on Chi Time TV. I'll be back soon with something else special, because that's the way we're rolling now. And I wish you a beautiful Easter. Bring the ease into your Easter. If you're watching this before Easter, of course, if you're afterwards, I just wish you ease in your life wherever you can find it, in the spaces in between.
Beautiful.
It took me a moment to connect. That's really, you've got a really great way with words.
I like to play. You've got a pretty good way with sound. So thank you so much, my dear friends.
Thank you, darling.
So lovely.
Thank you.
So to know that you're my neighbours now.
Yeah.
So special.
How magical is that?
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, and for sharing everything that you do with us all. And thank you all for watching, listening. We'll get back to your comments soon. Okay, lots of love.
Lots of love.
Keep your chi up, my friends.